The sky was black. Smoke rose from the broken ship. Metal parts burned with small blue flames. Captain Ray Carter opened his eyes slowly. His head was bleeding. His hands were shaking. All around him was silence, except for the crackling of fire. He sat up, coughing hard. The air was heavy. Something smelled like acid. His ship, the Pathfinder, had crashed on an unknown planet. The stars above were strange. This was not Earth, not even close. Ray tried to stand, but his leg hurt badly. He grabbed a piece of metal as a crutch and looked outside the wreck. Red rocks stretched for miles. The land was dry and dead. Nothing moved. No trees, no birds, no wind. But then, he heard it. A deep growl. It came from far away, but it was strong enough to shake his chest. Ray froze. He looked around, heart pounding. "Who's there?" he shouted. No answer. Suddenly, something large moved behind a rock. Ray couldn't see it clearly, just a dark shape, big and fast. He picked up a flare gun from the wreck and aimed. The shape was gone. Ray knew one thing. He wasn't alone. He limped back into the wreckage and found his survival bag. Inside were some food packs, a knife, a flare, and a small drone. The drone was broken, no signal. He was completely cut off. He tried the emergency radio. Static, then a voice. Just for a second. Distress. Unknown life form. Stay away. Then, silence again. Unknown life form, Ray whispered. The sun began to set. The temperature dropped fast. Ray used metal panels to build a small shelter near the ship. He placed sharp metal spikes around the shelter, like traps. He didn't know if they would work, but he had no choice. Night came, and with it, the sounds, footsteps, heavy ones, not running, just walking, slowly, around the shelter. Ray held his knife, breathing hard. Then a shadow passed by the wall. Huge. At least 10 feet tall. It stopped, sniffed the air. Ray stayed quiet. The creature growled. Then, it walked away. Ray didn't sleep that night. The next morning, Ray found something strange outside. Meat, fresh meat, still warm, placed near the entrance. Was it a warning or a gift? He didn't touch it. He buried it under the sand. Hours passed. Ray tried to fix the drone. No luck. Later, he climbed a small hill to scan the land. And then, he saw it. The creature. Standing on a cliff. It was massive, like a gorilla mixed with a wolf. Black skin, glowing orange eyes, long claws, and thick armor-like plates on its back. It didn't attack. It just stared at him. Ray raised his hand like a wave. The creature tilted its head. Then it walked away again. That night, Ray dreamed of fire, of a war, of people running and screaming. He woke up sweating. Another piece of meat was outside. Again, warm. Again, untouched. What was this thing doing? Why was it watching him? Why didn't it just kill him? Ray began to wonder. Maybe he wasn't prey. Maybe he was something else. He remembered a story his grandfather told him about wolves. Sometimes wolves don't attack humans. Sometimes they follow them, test them, respect them. Was this creature testing him? The next day, Ray made a choice. He walked out of the shelter, holding no weapon. He climbed the hill again and waited. Hours passed. Then, from behind the rocks, the creature appeared. It looked at Ray. Ray took a deep breath. He picked up a small piece of dried meat from his pack and placed it on the ground. A gift. The creature walked forward slowly. It growled low but didn't attack. It sniffed the food. Then it looked at Ray. And for the first time, it bowed its head. Ray's heart raced. This wasn't just a monster. This was something more, something intelligent. And now, it had made a choice. The beast in the shadows. Ray Carter didn't sleep much. He couldn't. Not when a 10-foot creature with claws like swords had just bowed to him. That image stayed in his mind, again and again. A predator. Kneeling. The sun was rising. The sky above the alien planet turned red and gold. Ray stepped outside the shelter. His traps, twisted metal spikes, were gone. All of them. Not broken, just missing. Something had carefully removed them in the night, but it left no footprints, only deep claw marks in a circle around his shelter, like a warning. Or maybe a shield. Ray limped through the rocky field, searching for answers. The creature had bowed. But why? Was it playing a trick? Was it still hunting him, or was it trying to protect him? His stomach growled. No food left except one dry ration. He took a bite and spat it out. Sand had gotten into it. Then he saw something strange in the sand. Not a footprint, a symbol, a shape drawn in the dirt. A circle, with a mark inside it, almost like an eye. It wasn't natural. Someone or something had drawn it. For him. That night, Ray didn't go inside the shelter. He sat outside, waiting. The air was cold. The wind had a low hum, almost like a voice. Then he saw the eyes, glowing orange, watching from the shadows. Ray didn't move. His heartbeat was loud in his ears. The creature stepped out, silent, massive, but something was different. It wasn't. Alone, behind it, smaller creatures followed, dog-sized, four-legged, fast. Their eyes were blue. They moved with sharp jerks, sniffing the air. Ray stood slowly. No weapons, no sudden moves. The big predator growled, deep and long. The smaller creatures stopped. One stepped forward. It growled back. Challenge. Suddenly, it leapt at Ray, but it never landed. The big predator moved like lightning. One swipe of its claw, and the smaller beast was dead. The rest fled into the night. Ray stared at the body, his mouth dry. The big creature turned to him, its chest rising. Slowly, it made no sound, but its eyes were calm. Like a guardian, Ray whispered. "You saved me?" The beast didn't answer. It just walked away. Ray followed. The walk was hard. His leg hurt with every step. But he had to know. The creature led him into a canyon, deep and dark. Strange plants grew there, long and thin, glowing soft purple. The walls were covered in markings, old ones. Some looked almost human. Ray ran his fingers over one mark. It was a symbol he'd seen on Earth. Military code. From decades ago. "What is this place?" he whispered. The creature looked back at him. Then it walked into a tunnel. Inside was a cave. Not just a cave. A nest. Piles of bones on one side, but also metal parts. Human tech. Worn and dusty, and in the center, a stone pedestal. On top, something wrapped in cloth. Ray unwrapped it. A photo. His photo. From Earth. Him. His sister. Taken 5 years ago. How the hell? He dropped the photo, hands shaking. The beast stood beside him. It reached out one giant claw and gently picked up the photo. Like it meant something. Then it looked at Ray and bowed again. Deeper this time. Ray felt a chill in his spine. This wasn't chance. This wasn't survival. This was a message. Not Pray Captain Ray Carter stood in the cave holding the photo. It shouldn't have been here. It was from Earth. From his past. From home. And now, a monster was staring at it. Like it remembered something. Ray slowly backed away, confused. Scared. The big creature placed the photo back on the pedestal. Gently. Carefully. Then turned to him. Ray's mouth was dry. "What are you?" he asked softly. The beast didn't growl, didn't move, just watched him. Then for the third time, it bowed. But this time, it did something new. It spoke. Not in words, not in sound, in images. Ray's mind exploded with visions, like lightning inside his brain, flashes of the past, planets burning, soldiers marching, creatures kneeling before humans. A giant hand reaching up to the stars, then darkness, and one word, one thought, burned into Ray's mind. Not pray. He gasped and fell to the ground, shaking. The vision was over. The beast was still standing there, calm, watching. Ray looked up at it. You know us. The creature nodded, slowly. You served us, didn't you? Another slow nod. Ray's heartbeat thundered in his ears. Humanity had been here before. And this thing, this terrifying alien, was not his enemy. It was his guardian. The next morning, Ray woke up inside the cave. The beast was gone. But something had changed. Outside the cave, he found food, cooked this time, warm, and beside it a small metal plate with human writing scratched into it. The architect returns. He touched the words. Architect? That was a secret term, only used in high-level military programs, ones Ray had trained for but never joined. Had someone planned all this? Had someone sent him here on purpose? Ray didn't have answers, but he had something better, a choice. He packed his gear, took the photo, and left the cave. The land around him was silent, but he felt the creature nearby, always nearby, hidden in the shadows, watching. Every time Ray was in danger, slipping on a rock, getting too close to a venomous plant, the creature showed up and waited. It didn't control him. It just guarded him, like a king's soldier, like a bodyguard, like a servant to royalty. Days passed. Ray began to build small tools, a stronger shelter, even a signal tower. He used scrap from his ship and pieces from the creature's cave. The beast didn't stop him. In fact, it brought him mortal tech, wires, power cells, all human-made. Each night, Ray added to his tower. Each night, the beast sat nearby, still as stone. Then one night, lightning hit the hills. A storm rolled in, loud, wild, and with it, others came. Not like the big one, smaller, thinner, faster. Hunters, Ray saw them through the storm, racing across the land. No eyes, just teeth. Dozens of them. They weren't scared. They were hungry, and they were coming straight for him. Ray ran to his shelter, grabbed a sharp metal rod. One hunter jumped at him and Ray stabbed it. But two more came. He fell, screamed. Then, roar. The big predator slammed into the pack like thunder. Claws tore flesh, teeth crushed bone. It didn't fight for survival. It fought for Ray. One by one, the hunters were killed. The storm howled louder, and when it ended, only Ray and the Guardian stood in the rain. Bloody. Bruised. Alive. Ray looked at the beast. It looked back at him. No growls. No words. Only silence. Only loyalty. This wasn't just a wild animal. This was something older. Stronger. Something that remembered, and it had made its decision. He was not prey. The others. The rain had stopped. The storm had passed. But something had changed in the air. Ray felt it. Not fear. Not safety. Something worse. He was being watched again. And this time, it wasn't his guardian. He stood near the edge of a wide cliff overlooking the valley. The red soil below was soaked with water. Strange purple plants had bloomed overnight, glowing in the mist. Beside him, the massive beast, his silent protector, stood still. Ray looked up at it. "You knew they were coming," he said. The beast didn't move. But Ray understood now. The storm hadn't brought danger by accident. It had been a signal, a warning, or maybe an invitation. That night, Ray followed the beast to a new place, a dark canyon hidden behind sharp rocks. The path was narrow, cold. They reached a wide underground space, a hollow chamber, half nature, half ruins. On the walls, glowing lines ran in strange patterns. Some looked like language, others looked like maps. And at the center of the chamber, a circle of stone pillars. 12, each one marked with carvings of different creatures. One of them showed a human figure. Ray stepped closer and saw his own, face carved in the stone, his exact face. He stumbled back, breath caught in his throat. "What is this?" the beast finally growled. Low warning. From the darkness, something moved. Shapes. Tall, silent, and many. Not one, not two. 6 creatures stepped into the light, all like his guardian, but thinner, faster, and colder. Their eyes glowed blue. Their claws dripped black liquid. They looked at Ray, and they did not bow. Ray backed away. The air went still. Then one of the creatures stepped forward. Its voice was broken, like metal scraping on metal. "False king." Ray's heart dropped. "Another." One spoke. "You are not the one." The big guardian growled and stepped in front of Ray. This was not a meeting, it was a challenge. The 6 creatures circled them. Ray whispered, "Why are they calling me that? What do they want?" The guardian didn't answer. It only moved its claw slowly and placed it on Ray's shoulder. And then it roared, a sound like fire, like thunder, like rage older than time. The fight was brutal. Claws hit stone. Blood flew in the air. The guardian fought like a monster from legend, 1 against 6. But it was losing. Too many. Too fast. Ray ran to the wall, grabbed a broken spear left near the pillar, and stabbed one of the attackers from behind. The creature screamed and collapsed. The others turned toward him. Now they saw something else, not a false king, not prey, but a fighter. Ray stood beside the guardian. He was bleeding, tired, angry, but he didn't run. One by one, the creatures backed away, into the shadows. Only one word remained in the air. Not yet. Silence. Ray dropped the spear. His hands were shaking. The guardian was badly hurt. Deep cuts across its chest. Black blood oozing slowly. Ray sat beside it, and for the first time, he reached out and touched its arm. It didn't pull away. He whispered, "They don't want me to be king, but you do." "Why?" No answer. Just heavy breathing. But in the stillness of the ancient chamber, Ray felt something shift. He was no longer lost. He was no longer alone. He was a key to something forgotten, something powerful. And now, the others knew it too. The throne. The cave was colder now. Not from the air, but from what had just happened. 6 creatures had tried to kill Ray. One word still echoed in his mind. False king. The guardian was badly wounded. Its thick black blood had dried into its fur. It lay beside a stone wall, breathing slow. Ray stayed awake all night, feeding it, cleaning the cuts, using heat to stop the bleeding. "I don't know what I'm doing," he whispered. "But I think neither do you." The beast blinked once. In the morning, Ray went deeper into the ruins. He followed the glowing lines on the walls. They pulsed under his touch, like veins in a living body. He reached a room hidden behind a sealed metal door. The panel beside it had no buttons, just a handprint carved in stone. It looked human. Ray pressed his hand to it. Nothing happened. He waited. Still nothing. He sighed, turned to leave, then heard a sound behind him. Click. The door opened. Inside was a throne. Not made of gold, not made of stone, but metal, silver black, smooth and glowing from inside. Floating above it, a small cube. Spinning slowly, Ray stepped closer. The cube flashed once and suddenly, he saw Earth. But not as it was now. As it was centuries ago, ships leaving the planet, soldiers in armor, creatures kneeling before them, worlds being claimed, and at the center of it all, a human, not a king, an architect. Ray's own face appeared on the throne's reflection, and the cube spoke. A flat, ancient voice, line confirmed, blood accepted. Authority unlocked. The throne glowed. Ray stepped back, heart pounding. What do you mean, blood confirmed? The voice answered, You are the descendant of the architect. You carry the command code. Throne awaits. Your will? Ray shook his head. No. I'm just a scout pilot. I crash-landed here. This isn't me. The cube pulsed again. Then why did the Guardian bow? Ray had no answer. Back in the main chamber, the Guardian had risen. Slowly. Painfully. When it saw Ray return, it lowered its head again, this time deeper than ever. Not in respect, in recognition. The cube floated beside Ray now, following him, like a crown without weight. He looked at the beast. You knew all along, didn't you? It didn't speak. But it didn't have to. Ray looked at his hands. Hands of a survivor. Hands of a soldier. And now, hands of a king. But deep below the ruins, in tunnels filled with silence and rot, the others were watching, whispers spread. The throne is active. The human lives. The architect has returned. One voice, colder than the rest, hissed in the dark. Then we burn the world before he takes it. The war that never ended, it started with a dream, but it didn't feel like Ray's. Was standing in a desert made of glass. Skies were on fire. 1,000 alien ships hung above like angry stars, and below, humans, wearing armor that glowed, eyes like machines, leading beasts twice the size of Ray's guardian. And at the front, the architect. He looked like Ray, but colder, stronger, and silent as death. Ray woke up gasping. The cube floated in front of him, spinning faster. Memory fragment uploaded. The war is not over. Ray stood slowly. The ancient throne room. Around him pulsed like a heartbeat. His voice shook. What war? The cube replied. The war for control. The builders made the world. But the others refused the chain. The architect was sent to claim this system. Ray's eyes widened. And what happened? Silence. Then, the architect vanished, and the others buried the truth. Ray walked out into the open, the wind whipping dust across the canyon. His guardian followed behind, moving slower now, still healing. Ray looked at the sky. No clouds, just silence, he whispered. How long has this planet been waiting? For me? The next day the sky changed. Not color, shape. Ships, dark, long, silent, falling from orbit like arrows. Ray grabbed the cube. What are those? The cube spoke. They are the cleaners. They were made to erase the architect, and if he returned, 3 landed in the valley. The ground shook. They looked like statues of gods, tall, silver, with arms like blades. Ray didn't wait. He ran. The guardian followed, growling, eyes burning. But the cleaners didn't chase. They marched, step by step, no sound, no fear. Ray reached the shelter, grabbed the broken signal tower, wires, tools, anything. He wasn't going to hide. He was going to call Earth. But as he powered up the system, the cube buzzed. Earth will not come. Ray froze. What? Earth ended long ago. You are the last architect. The weight hit Ray like a punch. He dropped to his knees. He was not a scout. He was not a soldier. He was not even a survivor. He was a last seed of something ancient, something dangerous. That night, the cleaners reached the canyon. Ray stood at the top, holding nothing but a metal spear. The cube floated beside him. The guardian stood on his left. Still breathing hard, still bleeding, still loyal. Below them, 3 cleaners, behind them, tunnels full of whispers. The others, watching, waiting. Ray raised the spear and spoke not like a man, but like something older. If this war never ended, then I'll be the one who finishes it. The last command, The wind stood still. Even the dust in the canyon paused, like the planet itself was holding its breath. Ray Carter stood at the cliff's edge. Behind him, a dying guardian. Beside him, a floating cube humming like a heart. Below, him, 3 cleaners, machines made to erase him. But Ray didn't run. He did something the architect never did. He waited. The cleaners stopped halfway up the slope. One lifted its head. Its face was a mirror, blank and glowing. It spoke not with sound, but through the cube. Final warning. Deactivation required. You are a threat to balance. Ray smiled. Just a little. Funny, he said. That's exactly what humans were built for. Suddenly the ground behind him split open. Stone crumbled. Dust exploded. And from the shadows, the others came. Dozens. Hundreds. Not beasts. Not soldiers. Survivors. All watching him. Waiting. Not to attack. To see what he would do. Ray's voice shook. Why do you all care about me? The cube answered. Because you carry the last command. Ray turned to the guardian, barely standing. Tell me the truth. Was this real? Or were you made to protect me? The beast looked at him and bowed. Not out of code. Out of choice. Ray stepped forward, raised his voice, not in fear, but in clarity. I'm not the architect. I'm not a god. I'm just a man. But if this war never ended, then it ends today. He placed his hand on the cube. Last command, he whispered. The cube exploded with light. The cleaners froze mid-step. Every creature around him, the others, the beasts, even the plants, went still. Ray's voice echoed through the valley, carried by something far older than technology. Stand down. No more war. No more kings. No more prey. This world belongs to all of us now. The cleaners stepped back. One by one, they powered down and fell. The others vanished into the shadows, but not in fear, in peace. The guardian let out one final breath, then rested its head against the stone and closed its eyes. Ray knelt beside it. You did more than guard me, he whispered. You reminded me who we were. He stood again, looking at the quiet land. A throne no longer mattered. A bloodline meant nothing, but a choice that still had power. Ray turned toward the rising sun and walked forward, alone, free, human. The air. End.